Hey everyone, it's La Plata Peak, just kind of bringing you an update here. So as you noticed by the title of the video, the 100 ounce bars and the kilo bars are no longer with me. I have gone ahead and traded in those bars for some of the gold you see here. All of it actually were these four. These are for Canadian Maple Leafs. Show you a little bit closer here in a second, but just kind of wanted to go through the story of that process. So a couple weeks back when the gold to silver ratio fell below 70 was when I decided that I was going to do some profit taking as far as playing the gold to silver ratio. So those bars I had initially, like I said, acquired back in February, March of this year ish, and they were kind of along the lines with exchanging them with some folks who was also acquiring. But essentially, I had the silver that I had used to get those bars. I had purchased at around $14 an ounce or so, at a time when the gold silver ratio was much higher, over 100 at the time. So it had fell below 70, and it was essentially I'd gotten a free ounce of gold out of it, the way it figured out. So, but the process was kind of, actually, it made me really glad that I had gotten rid of the 100 ounce bars. And this kind of goes into the philosophy where I was talking in the previous video, that they're not really practical, and they can cause some complications when it does come to selling them. So I went to a local bullion dealer, not a coin shop, but an actual dealer, and brought them in there. And the good thing about going to a dealer, I'll kind of go through the positives and the negatives about going to a dealer, as opposed to the local coin shop or a pawn shop. Now, if you take silver or gold to a pawn shop, you might, if you're lucky, get 75 cents on the dollar. You're going to be losing a lot, because those businesses are, they're not really going to be doing a lot in precious metals. A lot of time they're doing things like firearms or chainsaws or video games and things like that, and they're not really designed to be dealing with a lot of high net worth stuff like gold and silver. So they're generally going to be asking quite a bit. And the same kind of holds true if you go to really any of those places that kind of advocate, like, hey, we buy gold. If you see a sign that says we buy your gold, yeah, they're going to buy your gold, but they're not going to give you really what I would consider a fair market value. Those places you're probably going to get between 80 and 85 cents on the dollar. Local coin shops, you're probably going to get anywhere between 90 and 96 cents on the dollar, so a little bit better, depending on where you go, and also depending on how in demand gold and silver is. But this bullion dealer that I went to gave me pretty much spot, for my silver, and at the same time did not charge all that high of a premium for the gold. We essentially did a straight up trade, and what I got out of, I got one silver maple leaf, and I got these four Canadian gold maple leafs here. And I went with, they had Krugerrands as well. I ended up went with the Canadian gold because honestly I had some of the casings that fit the Canadian maple leaves. I had them handy, and that was really the only reason that I went with the maple leafs over the Krugerrands. Another factor would be, some people may find this more important than others, but Canadian maple leafs are 24 karat, as you can kind of see here, 999, whereas Krugerrands are 22 karat. Still an ounce of gold, but there's some other metal in there as well, bronze and maybe some silver, that makes up that additional weight. So it's going to be a little bit heavier than 1 ounce, but you're still getting 1 full ounce of gold in a Krugerrand, and I think the same holds true for the American Gold Eagle, 22 karat. So some people may look at that as a positive. It's really doesn't matter to me. The biggest thing to me was I had these casings for them. Also, when it comes to moving your gold or silver, something else to keep in mind, taking coins or something with a face value on it. And as you'll see here, some of these are coins, some of them are not. Actually, most of them are not. Actually, I take that back. 5 coins, and I have 4 rounds here. But there's a video with a man named Andy Schekman, who is the president of Miles Franklin, which is also a bullion dealer, and I had considered going through them as well. And I know I'm kind of getting off topic with this story, but just something else to keep in mind. He actually was in a situation where he was crossing the U.S.-Canada border, and I want to say he had 40 Maple Leafs on him at the time, which, would have been, I think, in the realm of, at the time this happened, was around $80,000 would have been the worth of it. But because these have a face value of $50, he had less than actual $10,000 face value. So he didn't have to declare it. I mean, he ended up being held by customs for a little bit because they looked at it as, hey, you're taking way more than $10,000. Anything $10,000 cash going across borders, you generally have to declare it. But because he, and I want to say he was coming into the United States from Canada, he had, when they actually even figured out the Canadian dollar to the US dollar exchange rate, he had less than $10,000 US on him at the time. So even though he was held and detained, they went back and kind of, read the statute and the letter of the law. So because he had actual coins on him and not rounds, he was able to say, hey, I've got less than $10,000 on me. Whereas if he had rounds on him, they could have taken the equivalent of the cash value, which would have been much more than 10,000. So he would have been in trouble, either legally or with the IRS, in trying to, come across with that much money. But kind of a sidebar. So back to my story. They did give me full spot, did not charge me that high of a premium because we were doing a straight up trade. But the catch is that they had to actually send out those 100-ounce bars for testing. Now the kilo bars, and I had some 10-ounce bars that I took up there as well, they were able to test those on site, and that wasn't a problem. But they actually had to send the 100-ounce bars to another facility and have them test them, and then come back. So I basically had to wait about a week before I was actually able to pick up my gold. So that was, I wasn't really too concerned about it because it was a pretty reputable company. But it was still, I had dropped off, quite a bit of silver with them without compensation for over a week. So ended up getting into some back and forth discussions via text. It was taking a little bit longer than I initially was told, but everything, worked out in the end. So, no harm, no foul as that goes. So that is just kind of one of the benefits of actually going through. If you've got a dealer like a Miles Franklin in your area, I want to say they're out of North Dakota, somewhere Fargo-ish. I did not go through them, but if something like them. Now, I will say this about Miles Franklin in conversing with them. They did tell me that if I shipped my silver to them, that they would basically just do a one-for-one swap without any, premium or without any, downgrading or anything like that. So if you don't have a dealer in your area, I do recommend that you do contact Miles Franklin, and they will be able to do those types of swaps for you. The only hassle you have to do is actually go through the process of packing and shipping the silver up to them, and then you're probably gonna have to pay that shipping cost, which depending on how much silver you're sending is going to could be run $20-$30 probably at most. But that aside, so just kind of getting into the rest of the gold I have. So I've got 9 ounces total now, which is very annoying to me as a OCD, and I probably will end up picking up that 10th ounce just to have a round number. But I do have a Ukrainian Archangel Michael. This is from 2018. Now, when I bought this, I actually bought it in 2018, and I was kind of going back and forth on should I get a 2016 or 2018, because the 2016s at the time were actually priced higher than the 2018s were because it was dealing with that year. Come to find out that there were only 10,000 2018 gold Archangel Michaels minted, and I don't believe that they've minted any since then. This was, I think, the last year so far. I mean, they may mint some more in the future, but I have not seen any for 2019 or 2020. So I don't know what kind of premium this is, fetching. The 2011 Archangel Michaels, which is the first year that they did, those are actually getting quite a bit. I mean, I think on eBay, those are going for over $4,500 in some cases. So I can't really do an apples to apples just because I haven't been really able to find 2018 Archangel Michael Silver on eBay. So more to be seen from that. This is, and then I should mention that this is a coin. There is a face value on this. Probably should have pointed that out. The Hervinia is the denomination, and I think it's on here somewhere. It's the language is kind of a barrier, but I want to say that there is a face value on that. Now, the Libertad does not have a face value, even though it is from the National Bank of Mexico. And I really do like the proof. I paid like $50-100 more to get the proof, which I probably won't get back if I ever sell it, but I really don't ever really plan on selling it. So just that, second type of cool. I just think it's a better finish. The BUs are, just as nice. Some might say, but I like the proof. And then these are actually from the Golden Statement, the Freedom Girl from the Silver Shield line. I've got one from this year and one from last year. This is the one from last year. They don't mint many of these. I want to say around 1,000 per year. So just knowing that I have one from, the last 2 years. Again, these are more of just kind of, I guess, collector items. But something I'm probably going to hang on to for a while. And then along with the maples, and then this I want to say I showed earlier with the gifts. This is actually a gift for my sister. And even though it is from the Korea National Mint of Korea, it is a round and not a coin. So with this and then these 4, I have 5 coins, 4 rounds. And then I guess I even got 2 variations of Queen Elizabeth. I'm not sure when they switched over from her wearing the crown to her not wearing the crown. This is from 2002. This is from 2011. So sometime between then, they made the switch. But it was nice to get the 4 maple leafs. It ended up being, when you figure what I paid for the silver and then trading it in for the gold, I essentially got these 4 gold pieces for about $13.25 per ounce. And at a time where, buying an ounce of gold is running well over $2,000, I take that as a pretty good trade. Or, if you want to figure, I got one of these for free. So free ounce of gold, I'm not gonna complain about that too much. But it just kind of shows how you can play the gold and silver ratio. And I will say that if the gold to silver ratio did shoot back up over 100, 120 for whatever reason, I would be the first person to probably take at least the maple leafs and trade those back in and get more silver. And then when it fell back down, I would keep whatever excess silver and get my 4 pieces of gold back, and then just keep the free silver in that case. So now I do expect that the gold to silver ratio is not going to top out at any rate at 70. That was just kind of one of those numbers where I was taking a profit, and I don't really know how available gold is going to become here in the next few days. We have more and more people standing for delivery in both gold and silver with their COMEX contracts, and it's going to be very interesting to see here how many people stand for September delivery. The numbers have just been going higher and higher from February to May to June to September. Those numbers and those contracts have just been going higher and higher. So we will, may see another run in the price of gold and silver. It's been trading, in a pretty decent window, gold between, essentially 1950 and 2050, and silver between 25 and essentially 28. It's been in that trading window for about the last 6 weeks. So when we get those contract numbers here in the next couple of weeks, how many people are standing for delivery, we may see another bump up in the price of the physical and the spot price based on that data. So more to be revealed, but just wanted to put a follow-up video regarding the 100-ounce bars. If you have any questions or comments, as always, please let me know. And just another philosophy when it comes to gold and silver stacking, that playing that gold to silver ratio. So hope everybody is well, and you have a good weekend, and talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye.